welcome everyone. Thank you so much for joining me today for our practice. You'll need a few props as we're going a little bit more of our yin style today. So a pillow, maybe 2 pillows, a block or a couple books, and a strap-like item. You might use some of them, maybe not all of them, we'll see. It just depends on how you're feeling and how your body's feeling today. So with that strap nearby, and since we're starting seated today, you may wish to have a cushion under your bum. It's always nice for the pelvis to be a little bit lifted. We're actually going to start with a little bit of breath work. So you just settle into your space to settle from the day you're already having or the day that is to come. Okay, so sit up nice and tall, any way that's comfortable for your hips and your low back, palms face up or down on your thighs. Take a big inhale and roll your shoulders up to your ears. And as you exhale, bring them back and down. You can breathe in through the nose as you lift the shoulders up. Breathing maybe out through the mouth as the shoulders come down, just for this first round. Breathing in as they come up, and breathing out as they go down. Yep, now we're going to reverse. So as you inhale, you're going to take the shoulders back and up to the ears. As you exhale, push them forward and let them come down. Inhaling to pull them back and up. Exhale to roll them forward and down. Last time. Breathing out through the mouth or the nose in that one. Beautiful. Let's come into a twist. Right hand behind you, left hand either to the middle of the legs or to the thigh, depending on your body. Inhale to lift up and then exhale a little bit of a twist to the right. Root down through your left sit bone. Okay, that left butt cheek will tend to lift if you're a little tight through the core or through the lats, the side body. And focus on taking some nice deep breaths. Just going to do a little bit of freedom for the lungs. And then we'll do a little bit of breath work. And come back to center, grow up nice and tall, and then twist the other direction. And as a reminder, the hand behind you, okay, is reaching out and away from your low back. Fingertips on the ground, and you're extending up through the top of your head as you twist to the left. Taking some nice deep breaths in. Feeling the resistance of the twist, and then the exhale turning a little further. And come back to center, hands on the thighs. Let's look to the left. Inhale. Exhale, bring your chin down to the center and across over to the right. Take a nice big inhale as you're looking to the right. Notice how you feel, and as you exhale, we'll come all the way back. Nice and slow. No rush. One more time. Inhale, looking to the left. Exhale, come down and in with the chin. Keep the spine tall all the way over to the right. Looking right, take a deep breath in. And exhale, we'll return, coming down across the collarbones and all the way up. Beautiful. Walk your hands forward in front of you. Now, if you're on a chair, maybe your hands are just walking forward on your thighs. You might feel a stretch in one of the hips depending on which foot is in front right now. If you're in a easy sitting pose, as I am. I'm not saying it's an easy pose to sit in. Its literal name is easy sitting pose. Okay, come back to center. Switch which foot is in front. If you're in symmetry right now and you don't have to switch, you'll just fold again. So go ahead, fold forward again. Go ahead, come all the way back up. We'll do a little bit of breath work here. Inhale, reach your arms up overhead. Breathe really tall through your spine. Exhale, hands, heart center. What I'd like to attempt to do, excuse me, I'm a little stuffy. What I'd like to attempt to do is when you lift your arms up overhead in a moment, we're going to attempt to make the arms match the length of your inhale. So when you're at the very top of your reach, it should be the completion of your inhale. And when you're starting to move through your exhale, arms start to come down, and eventually as the hands come to center, that is going to be the completion of your exhale. Yeah, we're going to do this through our practice today. So inhale, start to lift the arms. Notice how long you have left on your breath in, so maybe you move the arms faster or slower. And as you exhale, the palms start to come together, and hands will move towards the heart. Once they're at the heart, it's the completion of the exhale. Okay, I like to do 3 rounds on your own, as my breath might be longer or shorter than yours. I don't want my cueing to disrupt you. So please do 3 more breaths, trying to match your arm movement with the length of your inhale and exhale, okay? Go ahead. I'll do it with you. This is just here to help us kind of really create a center of calm, a slowing down. This is what's helpful. This is mindfulness technique, slowing down, because you really got to pay attention to the engagement or activation or movement of those arms with the breath. The breath is the significant part, arms are secondary. So I'll just take a pause for a second in case you're catching up. And we're going to take this breath work into some very gentle yang to our yin. Everything out of the way, hands and knees. This is called chakra vikrasana. Okay, we're still on our hands and knees. Pad the knees if you need to. Bring the hands a little further forward, not too far, maybe a handprint. Take an inhale, lengthen the top of the head forward, tailbone back, so you feel a lengthening through the mid-spine. And as you exhale, bring your bum towards your heels, forehead maybe to the ground, or it might hover. And we'll inhale, rise back up, hands and knees. So same concept. Exhale, let's come back. And the completion of your exhale should match your full compression here. Okay, when your bum is either on the heels or as close as they can get. And then we inhale and rise up. We're only back in our tabletop when the inhale is fully completed. So it kind of makes you slow down. So please do 3 more. Matching your breath out to the reach back with the hips. Matching your breath in to the coming back into the tabletop, full tabletop position. So you might be on your second one, or you might be a little faster than me. And the whole point of this is to unify the awareness of breath as your number 1 focus with the connection to the body, the mind-body connection. Beautiful. Now we're going to come up onto our knees. If you're on a really hard surface, you could use some padding if you'd like. I'm going to do that just because I have a very thin mat. You're in the middle of your mat on the knees. We're going to actually do the same thing, continuing this breath work. Okay, remember you're matching your movement to your breath length rather than vice versa. Excuse me. So we're going to inhale, lift the arms up, get really tall. I'll do the movement first. And then exhale, pull the navel to the spine. Start to fold forward, hips towards heels, fingers towards feet, forehead towards ground or hovering. And then inhale, wide out through the arms, lift back up onto the knees. Gaze is at the horizon. Okay. Exhale, start to fold, and see if you can start to match that length of your breath to the movement. Starting to slow down perhaps a little bit for that breath. Inhaling when you're ready to rise, all the way up. You're only at your peak lift, okay, when your inhale is at its peak. Okay, do 3 more, please. If you're having a bit of trouble linking these 2 together, this is a mind-body connection, then you can try and do a counting of your breaths if that helps. So maybe it's like 3 beats in and 3 beats out, something like that. And maintaining focus and stability, navel to spine, we're folding forward. Chin slightly tucks in. Then we're rising, we're squeezing the bum, the glutes to help us lift with control. And when you're done, just bring your hands on your thighs and take a momentary seat on your shins. I'll just give you a moment. Okay, well done. We're gonna come off of our cushion. Grab your strap and come up to, we'll come up onto, let's sit actually. I was gonna say, let's come to standing, but we're gonna make this super yin today. So take your cushion, or cushions, plural, sit on cushion. Apologies for my sniffles. It just started. We're gonna take our strap. And if you're really uncomfortable sitting on the ground, you could be in a chair for these next few postures, no problem at all. Or you can just sit higher on your bum, so more cushions under your bum. You can sit whichever way is comfortable for your legs. I happen to like sitting cross-legged. Okay, we're gonna continue to free up the capacity of the breath with a little bit of shoulder opener work, and then we're gonna work through the rib cage and the side body. Excuse me. So place your strap over your shoulder. I'm just gonna start with a little tricep stretch. So bring the right hand up to the sky, turn the palm to face the back, and then bend at the elbow, placing your hand kind of around the nape of the neck or slightly between the shoulder blades. Take your left hand over your head and grab the right elbow, snugging it in towards your ear and back a little bit. Now the tendency is that you'll pop the ribs. So inhale, lift the top of the head up to the ceiling, and then exhale, draw the low ribs down and back. So you might actually feel like you're curving a little in the upper back, but you're not. It might feel like that though if you're not used to drawing the ribs in. As you breathe in, stretch up tall. As you breathe out, track the navel in and up. Some core engagement, so we get that nice stretch purely for the tricep of the right arm. One of my favorite things to do is I like adding a little side bend, but depending on your shoulder stability, if there's any injury, you might not do this, but you could technically tilt ever so slightly to the left. As long as you can keep core containment, low back feels okay. Okay, we'll come back to center. Bring your arms in front of you. Okay, we're gonna bring that right arm underneath your left, crossing at the elbows, and you can either grab opposite shoulders, lifting the elbows, okay? Or you can twist tie the arms, which means the back of the hands touch or the palms actually twist tie. It's not for everyone, so the opposite shoulders are fine. Okay, let's lift the elbows a little bit higher. I'm gonna turn to the side just temporarily so you can see this. Lift the elbows. And the tendency here is if you're really tight in your shoulders, you're gonna end up popping the ribs. You're gonna be back bending. Let's not do that. Let's pull the low ribs in, grow tall, and then press the elbows away from the chest. It's like we're trying to pull the elbows away, and yet we're trying to stay totally upright. We're trying not to round. You'll get that nice massive stretch between the shoulder blades. It's an area that gets very tight. We're on the computer a lot, if we're sitting a lot, or if we just don't have the best, comfiest chairs in a workplace. If you have the twist tie, focus pulling the thumbs away from your face. Nice deep breaths. Unlock the jaw, soften the tongue. Just welcome in some stillness for these next few moments. And although we've twisted ourselves up in this posture, your breath is actually the key to relaxation, the key to softening any stress or tension in these areas. And you can release the hands. And we'll do one more for that shoulder. I'm gonna bring the right hand, thumb facing down behind you, behind your back, and I'll turn around in a second. This already, you might be like, yep, already feeling that. We're gonna draw the belly and the ribs in and back. You might even feel the mid-back, where your hand is right now, kind of pressing into the hand. If your hand's lower, then it might be your low back feels like it's pressing back a little. Then we'll just move that strap onto the left shoulder. Sorry if that caught my mic. Okay, we're gonna take the left hand up, bend the left elbow, grab the strap. Okay, with your left hand, grab the strap with your right hand, start to walk the hands closer together. Okay, so from the back position, looks something like this. Right, and the tendency is if you're really tight in that shoulder, you're going to want to draw that in closer. That shoulder, that left shoulder, if it's really tight, and if your right shoulder is bothering you, just don't go so high. Just keep tall and focus on your breath. So focus on your breathing, especially if this is a really snug one. You might notice the deeper you breathe, the deeper the posture might actually feel for you. So you don't have to physically be deeper, like hands closer together. You can actually just breathe deeper to make a difference in this posture. 5 of your deepest breaths. And very slowly start to slide the hands apart. Sorry, I caught my mic again. Bring the hands forward, maybe onto the thighs, and just give yourself a few shoulder rolls. Maybe you do one at a time, back and forth, or both. Sometimes I just shake the shoulders a little bit and let the hands come down. It's nice too. Okay, so let's do the other side. Just for now, we'll put the strap over the right shoulder. Okay, I'll bring the left arm up and the left elbow, hand to the neck, or the bottom part of the neck, excuse me. I'll take the right hand onto the elbow, lift up nice and tall through the crown of your head, pull those lower ribs back, and then squeeze the left elbow in a little and back. You might use a little bit of pressure from the right hand, but be very mindful that the shoulder girdle, that joint, can be quite delicate in the cuff, the rotator cuff, so better to use your breath, the depth and consistency of your breath to actually increase the stretch. As I mentioned in the other side, sometimes I like to do a little side bend to the right, but for those of us who have shoulder injury or any concerns, we may just avoid that option. Keeping the core engaged, navel to the spine or belly to spine. Keep the jaw soft. And we can come back to center. Bring the arms, both arms forward. Okay, we can bring the left arm under the right. You can either grab opposite shoulders, as so. Just like that. Or we can twist tie the arms. That means that the backs of the hands can come together, or we can literally put the palms together. It's up to you. I'll move a little closer, a little brighter for you here. All right, and as we lift the elbows a little higher, regardless of which variation you have, let's draw the navel and the ribs in. Take a deep breath and lift the elbows a little higher. It's very common for one side to be pretty different than the other, especially if we're switching dominant sides for you now. But it is your breath that can expand that stretch into the even most tense areas of the neck and shoulders. Option here, regardless of which variation you're in, is to pull the elbows forward as you keep your spine more neutral. Lifting the elbows and drawing them forward gives that big stretch through the upper back. Okay, we're almost done. Just a few moments now in silence. You can unwind the arms slowly. Take a deep breath. And we'll do the other side now. So we'll lift up the right arm, bring the left arm out, thumb down. Bring the left hand behind the back, knuckles to the low back or mid back, depending on your shoulder. Bend the right elbow, grab the strap with the right hand, grab the strap with your left hand, okay? The tendency to try and get those hands closer together will be to pop the ribs, kind of making the back in a way shorter distance, but we want to keep integrity in the spine, so lower ribs back, okay? Right elbow draws in towards the ear, left shoulder stays down, and then just breathe into whatever sensation you're feeling. Even if it's a big sensation, maybe your mind is saying, oh, I'm tight for this reason or that reason. Let's see if we can let go of the thought forms and just refocus onto the breath. A nice big balance breathing that we were doing in the beginning of class. Where it's less about how the posture is making you feel and more about how is the breath responding to your posture. So it can be so nice to have a stretch, and we all need to stretch. We all work with being more flexible and more open. Ultimately, for your mind, it's really the breath that's going to make the biggest impact. Good, well done. Start to slide the hands apart. Relax the arms down. Bring the strap behind you. Bring your hands onto the strap. So just turn around. Okay, so fingernails point out, knuckles face in. Straighten the elbows, lift the heart, and then lift the arms up behind you. So this is a big chest opener. This one we might feel the most. We're going to work with a couple chest openers today, especially if we work at a desk a lot. We're literally doing the opposite of curving into a desk. So reach those knuckles back, lift tall, and try to lift the arms up behind you. Take some deep breaths. If you can't take a deep breath because of where your position you've chosen for your arms, bring them down maybe a centimeter, and then take another deep breath. See if that makes a difference for you. In your mind, you can focus on expanding the inhale, especially through the front of the upper chest and collarbones. So there's a little bit of activity, so if you're feeling some heat in the body, it's natural. Almost done. And release the hands down, good job. Take the strap aside for a moment. You can either stay on the cushion or move it away from this one. Bring the feet in front of you. Bring the hands behind you, just on the shoulders. Feet about hip distance apart. Here's some reverse tabletop, so just reinforcing what we just did with the strap. When you're ready to breathe in, we're going to lift that thumb up off the ground. And as you exhale, just bring it down. Pay attention to how your shoulders feel. If you got an injury and this is not going to fly for you, you can do any of the variations we've already done with the strap. Okay, breathing in, we'll lift up. Press down to the index finger and thumb, and then come back down. This one we're going to hold. Inhale, lift up. You don't have to lift up very high to make it effective. I can go much further, but I already feel it in my shoulders, so I'm just going to stay. Okay, holding for 5. Deep breath. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Bring it down. Okay, bring those arms forward. Give yourself a big hug. And then relax. We will continue with the shoulders in a moment. We are going to give them a break. Let's move a little bit into the legs and the side body here. So lean back just a little bit. If we want, we can sit onto the forearms, like so. And we'll bring that right foot on top of the left knee. Okay. With the right ankle on top of the left knee, we can walk the left foot in a little closer and just lift the back a little. And we're still going to get that stretch in your shoulders. Yeah. I said we're getting a break, but it's like very minimal. Keep flexing your right ankle, and this might feel a lot. If this is a lot, we can come all the way to the ground, head on the ground, and hand pressing against the thigh. If you're kind of like, feels fine, you could walk yourself up and walk that left foot out a little. You might have noticed it went right away. And then lift through the heart. Okay, it's a bit of a double whammy. Or maybe a fibbed a little that we are taking a break on the shoulders. I'm going to keep that nice flexion in the right ankle. So you can see it from the other perspective here. As we keep that, we lift the heart, and it's going to give you a deeper stretch in the hip while simultaneously opening the chest. Okay, 5 breaths. And remember, you can do this on your back. It's called thread the needle. I've definitely done it before in my other sessions, my other classes. It's just simply laying on your back while doing this with the feet. Okay, you might want to bend the elbows back, lean back, release the foot, come up, hands to shins, and give yourself a little rounded hug. And we'll come back up. We can start either on the forearms or go right onto your back, like lay right down. And we'll put that left ankle over the right thigh, flexing the knee, or excuse me, flexing the ankle. Very important for the knee joint. You can stay here, or you can lift yourself up, walk yourself up. Now, I don't have to have the fingers facing forward for that stretch in the arms. I could have them however's comfortable. Okay? And the closer your right foot is to your bum, the deeper that stretch is going to be in the back of that left hip. Okay? Everyone's got different mobility though. Laying on the ground just might be more relaxing for you. Relaxing, but still engaged in the ankle. Okay, find a point of focus for your eyes, or close your eyes and start to get back into the rhythmic breathing. How deep can you send your next inhale? Almost there. Last few moments, lift the heart a little bit more. Keep those lower ribs slightly down. You might get a deeper stretch. Bend the elbows back, walk the hands back, release the foot down. Lift yourself up, hands to the shins. Curl yourself in and down for a little hug. And let's grab our cushion and do a forward fold. Sit onto your cushion. And for a forward fold, you're going to do wide-legged forward folds. This one tends to be a lot for most people, so I'm going to give you 2 options. Option 1, wide-legged forward fold. Both legs out, sitting up on a cushion, generally fairly high for most of us. Okay, I'm a little up today because I actually worked out my inner thighs yesterday, so they're a little bit sore and a little more tight than usual. But for most of us, this is a very, very tight area. Okay, pelvic floor, inner thigh line, and hips and low back. It kind of has everything involved. We've warmed up the shoulders a little more now, so we have some freedom from there, which is nice. Now, we could, at any point, for our hamstrings are just screaming at us, we can put blocks or books or pillows underneath the knees, okay? Now, the secondary option, if you're just like, this is really not fun for me, I cannot stay here, it's just too much for the mind, then we would bring both knees bent with the feet together, okay, and the knees wide. This is also known as butterfly or cobbler's pose. This would be fine. Okay, and this shape can be a long diamond or a squish diamond. All right. I'm going to go for the wide one today just because I'm kind of itching for that stretch. All right, so wherever you've chosen to be, let's take our hands under the glutes, under the butt, and actually pull the flesh out of the way and back. Okay. And start to walk yourself down, forward and down, into a forward fold. So I'm just going to adjust that there. As you walk into a forward fold, for most of us, it's going to be like 2 little fingerprints forward, and that's about where we're at, and that's perfect. Okay? You do not have to keep the ankles flexed. You can relax, but if there's any knee sensitivity or injury, I would recommend the little bend the little cushioning under the knee, like a little rolled up towel or something like that. You can always pause this video and go get that. So as you choose to fold forward, whether it's feet together, knees wide, or as I am, find a point of focus for your eyes. It's really going to help you here. And then I actually encourage and invite you into a 4-count inhale and a 4-count exhale. If it's too much, 3 count in, 3 count out. And that's all I want you to try and focus on here. This is a big posture, even for yin, very big. Okay, and we're going to stay here for about another minute, maybe minute and a half. We'll see how we go today. So remember, 4 in, 4 out, or a 1-to-1 equivalent that works for where your breath dynamic is at today. Right? For those of us that know, this is a very snug area, getting a lot of physical feedback. Loosen your jaw, unclench your teeth. Interesting is the moment your mind wanders, the breath will return to its generally more shallow state. If you've had a lot of stress or tension or a lot going on and you're in a stress response most of the time, then it will automatically go back to the other state. So if you can catch yourself in thought, then you can return to those deeper breaths. You're actually retraining your brain and you're retraining your nervous system to move out of the fight and flight that you've maybe previously been in consistently into a more parasympathetic, a more calming and rest and digest state for the nervous system. Super excellent for vagal tone, which helps to control and stabilize the nervous system. So we've got maybe about 30 more seconds. Very slowly, no matter how far forward or not you are, just start to make your way up towards a vertical spine. Super duper duper slow. Make sure the breath is still going, you're not holding your breath as you transition. And then just lean back a little bit. And you can bend the knees individually, or you can use your hands to bend the knees and slide the legs in. Once in, feet in front, hands behind, you can rock the knees from side to side. Just a little rock. Beautifully done. Now I don't want to ignore, I don't know if you guys can hear that. It's a super massive gecko. They're particularly loud, apparently he wants to be in the video. So before we do a little bit more through the shoulders, now lay on your side body and just give a little love to the front body. It's kind of part of the central channel that we are working a little bit with. And you can lay on your side body. You can either prop up your head, okay, or you can lay the head down. It's up to you. I'm going to prop just so it's easier for me to see you. Right? And we're going to bring that right leg underneath you forward at about 90 degrees-ish. Right? And then the left leg, we're going to bend the knee. So the knee is in the air. Some of us are going to do well with the strap, which means that you might have to come up, put the strap around the foot or the ankle. It's fine. Give yourself some slack. Lay the strap over the thigh. Come back down. And then point the toe and bring the strap behind you, the foot behind you, heel to bum for quad stretch. Now it's important that the right leg underneath you is bent. That's going to give you a little bit more stability And if we have neck sensitivity, shoulder sensitivity, I would recommend just bring the head down and draw, okay, that lifted left thigh back and away. Okay, if we have knee sensitivity, be careful with this. If we're really tight around the knee joint, you may want to flex your foot. That would be the left foot that's in the air right now. Nice deep breaths and pull the low ribs back. And I'll increase the stretch as you pull the navel in, belly to spine. Loosen the jaw. This is not a long hold because there's a little bit more yang, there's more activity involved here with that holding. Nice deep last 2 breaths. I think the quad is often the most missed muscle in terms of stretching. It's one of the hardest, personally, to stretch because it's the biggest. There's not a lot of great stretches without compromising the knee, right? Let's bring the foot forward, knee forward, and just change sides. So I'm gonna go from side to side so I can still face you, but you could easily just log roll over to your other side. You know this is a tight area for you. Before you lay all the way down, put that strap around your foot. Okay, actually around the foot, not the ankle's not as good as the foot, but depends. Okay, so you got the slack, and then you can lay yourself down. Bring the left knee forward first. Get that right hip on top of the left hip. My apologies if this isn't mirroring for you. Okay, and then we'll bring the right leg behind us, the strap behind us. Hand on the strap, and then we can draw that right leg back. Draw the right heel towards the bum. Hold the low ribs in, okay, and lift and draw back your right thigh. If you have some knee sensitivity or concern, or you're feeling something there, flex the ankle of your right foot, meaning that your right toes point in and up towards your right shin. And you can even lift your right knee a little bit higher so it's more in line with the hip, and that will also help. Okay, we're not here for super long. Just a few more of your best deep breaths. And you can softly come out and release. Rise up. Now we're going to go back into our shoulders. Okay, so coming on hands and knees, tabletop. Walk the hands forward to the edges of your mat. And shift your hips back just a little behind your knees. And then start to sink your hips down as you walk your hands forward. This is a big pec and chest stretch, armpit, all through the sides, serratus, and the lats. If your head does not make it to the ground, that's perfectly okay. To let go of this concept of like that we need to look a very particular way. As long as you're safe, as long as those hips are just behind the knees, good to go. We could always put a pillow under our head, still reaching the arms forward and giving more support. That can be so lovely. It's still reaching out to the arms, still sinking down to the chest. This is a great posture to actually try and flare your ribs. If you've ever tried to take a really deep breath and you felt that wide expansion through your ribs, it's a great place to do this here because we are stretching so much. So there's a little restriction and you get that just little extra for a little extra stretch if we really breathe quite deeply on the inhale especially. Now for those of us who are quite mobile here, we find that this posture doesn't maybe do as much, or we just don't feel like anything, then you can bring the hands closer together, closer towards the head with the upper arms, closer together with the hands, and that can widen, stretch through the side of the body and lower backs of the shoulder blades. the mind in the moment is often the most challenging, and postures have a lot of sensation. So you come back to your one-to-one breathing, which is a balanced breath, meaning when you take a breath in, it could be, say, a 4 count in, and then the breath out, 4 counts out. If that's too long, do 3 and 3. Last 2 breaths. We're going to start to inch our way back, bum towards the heels to a child's pose. As the bum comes towards the heels, the forehead could go to the block or the ground. You're going to reach those arms towards the feet and relax the shoulders, just giving some gentleness to that initial stretch we just did. As you rise up, slide forward onto your tummy. As you're on your tummy, come up onto your elbows. So the elbows are underneath your shoulders. And you may want that block or that pillow just accessible in front of you here. It's called Sphinx pose, so feet a little bit wider together, wider apart, toes pointed. And if it feels like way too much on the low back, maybe just we have some concerns there. What we could do is we could put a pillow right under the ribs and just widen the elbows and soften. Still stay lifted, but we're much softer now, right? It's a much softer back bend. If we're feeling okay, keep the elbows as they are under the shoulders. And then the option here is to bring that pillow in or the block in and allow ourselves to sink in and down with the chest. So I'm not holding myself up anymore. The shoulder blades are now drawing together. Okay, they're drawing together on the back. And then the head can either dangle down if there's no concerns in your neck, no arthritis or anything like that. If there is some concern, so we're just not really feeling comfortable with doing that, we could bring our head to the pillow. So still getting that opening through the front of the chest, front of the neck for some, and the back of the neck with that head tilted forward. This is great energetically and just stimulation-wise in the organs of the body for the kidneys and the adrenals, as we're actually creating a little bit of compression right in that mid-back area. Deepening, widening, expanding your breath. Loosen your jaw, loosen your tongue. So any more little wiggles you need to do to completely release in this posture. Then we can start to make our way up nice and slow, especially if that felt like a lot for you today. It's always better to go gently and slowly. Widen the elbows to either side of the mat. Bring hands down on one another, forehead to the back of the hands. You can bend the knees, feet to the sky, and do a little rock with the feet side to side, just like a windshield wiper if we were seated, like we did before with the legs. So back and forth, back and forth. A little onto your back. you roll onto your back, let's grab our pillows. And I think I mentioned, Austin here, I think I mentioned to grab a pillow or two. If you only have one pillow, it's fine. But if you want extra comfort, heavy duty comfort level, then grab your pillows. If you would like the super extreme comfort level, grab your strap. You're gonna put one pillow lengthwise in between knees and ankles, just like so. And we're gonna wrap our strap or our strap-like item around and tie. Now, if you don't have a strap long enough, it's not a big deal. Don't worry about it. If you want to pause the video and go grab one that's like that, fine, but it's really not necessary. It's just if you have it. If you don't have it, you just have a pillow between your knees here, perfect. Your other pillow is over on the left side, my left, your left. Okay, on the left side, we're gonna just wiggle ourselves a little over to the right side of the mat. With the knees secured with the cushion, we're gonna lay down, keeping those knees bent. If you're not as tight as you want to be, then retighten. Snuggle that pillow in towards the side hip, the secondary one. Shift the hips a little to the right. Tuck your knees into your chest. Reach your arms out and T, and then let the knees fall to the pillow. This is extremely restorative. We just did so much work through the shoulder, through the side body, getting that length so that when we got to this twist, it could be that much more rejuvenative. Now you can look in the direction of your right hand if we're not prone to migraines or headaches. However, if we are, you can continue to look straight up or in the same direction as your knees. Your left hand is wherever's comfortable. I like to kind of have it on my thigh. Okay, we'll be here for a moment. For those of us that have insomnia, excellent position for insomnia. Excellent, excellent position. Very calming for the nervous system. Nothing more to be done right now, except for those nice, fulfilling belly breaths in, and visualizing a melting or a softening on the breath out to the whole body. Letting go of all the thoughts, the to-do lists, the commentary, the non-stop commentary on the body. Diving the focus to the breath. 4 beats in, 4 beats out. Let's come back to center slowly. Shift the hips back to neutral. Move your pillow to the other side. Your pillow should be right down so that when the knees fall, they fall right on the pillow. We're going to shift just the bum, the hips a little to the left. Tuck your knees into your chest. Reach out through your arms for stability. And then let the knees fall to the right. Okay, if it doesn't feel supportive, you can always move to a different position for that pillow. I just did actually. I moved it a little further underneath the thighs for this side to feel really comfortable and supported so that I could completely let go. So do whatever you need to do in order to make that happen for you. And then choose the position of your face, so up, right, or left. Okay, if you're migraine prone, you're looking more to the right or straight up. Okay, we'll hold for another about 2 minutes, just under 2 minutes. the mind drifts, that comes back into all the thoughts and commentary, make the choice to come back into your breath. 4 beats in, 4 beats out, the balanced, leveled breathing. Consistent focus on the breath, great calm and peaceful mind. Or peace, I should say, in mind. Three breaths left. Make your way back to center slowly, feet to the floor, hips to neutral. Tuck the knees into your chest. You'll still have the wrap and everything, maybe hands to the thighs or the shins. Just give yourself a snuggle in, I'll rock from side to side. Deep breath to your belly. Okay, undo your strap. Take out your pillow and place your pillow or pillows underneath where your knees would be. Okay, for a supported Shavasana. So right underneath the knees, the ankles, the heels will be on the ground, ankles will soften outwards, palms face up. Move the shoulders out of the way, lift the head, place it back down, and then you're welcome to close the eyes. In your Shavasana, you can always have a little blanket. Okay, we've got about 2 minutes before the 55-minute mark for our class. So rest assured you have the space to have your moment of rest. I would encourage and invite you into the balanced breathing again. 3 in, 3 out, or 4 in, 4 out. And as you practice this, know that this is something you can practice throughout your whole day or as you go to sleep. And that's a way to regulate the nervous system and regulate any stress in the body. One minute left. If you have ready to move into the rest of your day, roll your ankles and wrists, wiggling your fingers and toes. Bring your knees into your chest one at a time. If you have time to stay, then just ignore these instructions. As your knees come into your chest, you give yourself a hug and rock a little from side to side, eventually rocking all the way to one side. Pressing yourself up to a seated position with hands in prayer, palms together. Just take one last conscious breath and take that conscious awareness into the rest of your day. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you have a beautiful rest of your day or evening.